joining the club at the start of the second season here against another man who was brought up in South Africa, Brad Barrett. Big game for Richard Wigglesworth. His kicks have got to be pinpoint accurate with the likes of Tuasova and Habana on the wing. Lee Halfpenny as well, marauding from fullback. What a noise, what a carnival next to the Med. And now the Pilu Pilu, familiar pre-match routine they've been doing for over 70 years. The local tattoo artist, Cedric Abelon, in fine voice. And we're underway. John Lacey is the referee. Contrast weather-wise to the last time we saw Sarries in Europe. We've swapped the lashing rain of Lyon for the Mediterranean sunshine of Toulon. And the champions' defence starting here in the palace of the former kings. And it is Saracens in red. It's Toulon who've changed colours. It's the home team. And Berger immediately getting his hands on the ball. One of the games for which he came to the Northern Hemisphere, and immediately with Cruz, Saracens beginning to find some space and enjoy a little bit of early rhythm. Big heavy percussion from Billy Vunipola. And the Toje back to Cruz. Farrell swings it wide to Wiles. He's held up by Mar Nonu. Mako Vunipola. He runs into Vermeulen. Very impressive early start for Toje and for Sarries. Again, they've got red shirts on this right-hand side, but Bosch just cuts back and straightens it up.
Scott Barker's work rate is phenomenal last three rucks. He's cleared out ball that could have been turned over, but the collisions already, Nick, are immense.
Advantage coming, penalty coming for Saracens.
That's wonderful play from Saracens. A little bit more subtlety when they're taking the ball. Berger twice there. Looked as if he was offering as the runner, but just tipped the ball on one more time and created that extra space.
Well, you mentioned it, Lawrence, in the warm-up to the game, saying that Saracens want to get off to a lead so they can impart their own style on the game, not let Toulon control. And you've seen that with the intensity Saracens have showed early on. Opportunity there to go a little bit wider from Cruz. Jamie George outside him. Potentially could have gone through the hands, but they'll be happy if they walk away with 3 points after 2 minutes.
Well, these really are the days that count in a career, when you get to test yourself against other superhumans, when they and you get to see what you're made of. We, for the first time this season, getting a reminder of what Owen Farrell is made of. Perfect pre-match kicking routine in the warm-up. See how it goes for real. When it's for real, they're a few better than Farrell, and Saracens lead 3-0.
Yeah, here comes the last attack from where the penalty came from. Look at that, just out the back by Mako Vunipola. George Cruz possibly could have looked for Jamie George outside and didn't fancy the pass off his left hand, but great start from Saracens, 3-0.
Okay. Ball, please, time off.
Just looked really comfortable. They've got that extra width with the passing of Farrell as well. It's twice that he's hit Wiles out wide, just with the miss-out pass, trying to catch Toulon's defence.
Playing with great width. I watched Tranduk actually in the warm-up. His restarts were so high. This is definitely going to be a kick to compete.
Toulon just inside the 22, and it's gathered by Cruz. Maybe just a little bit too far.
They scuffed that one, unfortunately. You really want to test Saracens because they were playing into that sun.
Another penalty. He can be pernickety, John Lacey. The Saracens won't mind that early on. A couple of early penalties in their direction.
Yeah, he seems to favour the team with the ball, and
Maul collapse.
that was
Yeah,
penalised for a maul collapse, and again it just allows Saracens to relieve the pressure.
Do you not think that's where the clarity of coaching comes in for a side like Toulon? Yes, you've got world-class players in your team, but you're playing against Saracens. You want to say, do you know what, lads, calm down. We've analysed the referee. He doesn't like people that compete at the breakdown. Let Saracens have it, because if we stand up, where are they going to go?
Right in.
Jamie George taking out of Toge. He was under a lot of pressure from Olivon, one of Toulon's new stars this season.
Yeah, a little bit underthrown there. It was a five-man line-out for Saracens. And this time they do compete at the breakdown. And they do get the penalty. Frisia with the penalty, really strong over the top.
Jackson Ray, isn't it? He just loses his footing, falls on the wrong side. As you see, they compete at the line-out. Scrappy ball. Wigglesworth falls to the floor, but watch Jackson Ray just falls at the wrong side, so none of the clear-out players from Saracens can get any purchase and clean the space beyond Wigglesworth. Good penalty for Toulon. Reacted well to the opportunity there.
Familiar face. Sweeping the doorstep ahead of the kick. Lee Halfpenny. On his feet again after the knee injury, that awful knee injury against Italy in the World Cup warm-ups that obliterated pretty much last season. He came back in time for the top 14 semi-finals, but this is a brand new start. What from Toulon's perspective will feel like a brand new player. Boom. That's what they missed last season. Kicking-wise, they weren't great off the tee, but Lee's back and the sun's shining again.
Yeah, such an important part of the game. When they were winning trophies, they had, of course, the mercurial and very accurate Johnny Wilkinson. Last season, they were only at 54% with the likes of Cooper and Escande. Lee Halfpenny back in the groove, 86% already this season, and what a great penalty from him early on.
Fred, can you hear me? Get him to sort the ball, boys, out, please.
John Mace has got a problem with the time it's taking to get the balls back onto the pitch after the penalties.
Just give me a sec.
It'll suit Saracens. They're quite happy to slow the game down when they haven't got the ball.
Oh, with the restart. Sarri's playing with the sun in their eyes in this first half, focusing on Vermeulen. Francois Tranduc, summer arrival from along the coast in Montpellier, and he will steady things down at 10 for them.
Well, it's the oldest trick in the book, Nick, isn't it? You tell the ball boys, if Saracens want the ball, oh, sorry, there doesn't seem to be one available, whereas if Toulon want it, yeah, you can have three. Every club does it, or used to do it. Fair play to the ref for spotting it early on.
Vunipola. Here's his brother. And Farrell on the run nicely. Jamie George is chasing it, putting a lot of pressure on Tuasova.
It's a wonderful piece of play there. Not only have they brought the ball back down the short side, but a deft little grubber kick through from Farrell, and it landed exactly where he wanted. It didn't go into touch.
No, I can, yeah.
Just bounced up, and Tuasova had to play it. Probably didn't realise where he was there.
It's Tuasova, Olympic gold medalist, and he's set for his test debut as well. So he's been picked for Fiji in the tour. That includes matches against England, the Barbars, Japan. So we'll see him back home. He's worth going along to see, and is in the hands of Sarries at the moment, and George.
Transfers it to Vunipola, now Berger looking dangerous.
All the way through for Wiles.
Stay there now.
Jackson Ray, match number 150. Great Saracen. Farrell, a little bit of room again on this left-hand side. Vunipola sensing it, finding his big brother. Again, he's held on to by Tuasova. Saracens once more knocking on Toulon's front door.
Take the assist away! No two.
Farrell Behind Cruz, and picked up by Barrett and Good and George and Maitland. Not quite.
He's got that down, he's done wonderfully well. He's really worked space. It took a little bit of time to get to Maitland there on the wing. They had numbers there, Saracens.
Could he have stepped back on the inside? The cover was absolutely flat out, but has he finished this? It's going to be very close. We've seen him score well already this season. 2 tries already this season for the Sarries.
Timo is Simon McDowell. So instinct said he didn't get this down, but
That's a
I'm
try.
not sure. I think he might have done.
That is a try.
Both feet are in the air, which is really good from him initially.
Well, that angle of his body going sort of 45 degrees towards the corner flag. As he does, gets his arm out in front. Try for me.
Is there any doubt about whether he's got control of that all the way through?
I don't think there's any doubt there, Nick. I think the referee might just want to slow it down a fraction on grounding.
Can be the that can be the only question mark.
Just needs to be slowed down, doesn't it, from the right angle there. Got downward pressure for me.
5 points. Great finish. Well worked try. Let's crack on.
Yes, yes.
You may award the try.
Thank you.
Irishmen conspire to agree that that was a magnificent finish from Sean Maitland, and Saracens score first, try-wise in Toulon.
Just getting a really quick ball. You've got to admire the way the forwards from Saracens are handling the ball. 3 or 4 times already Burgers has put that little tip on. There was a lovely floated pass from Mako Bunapola, and they're finding space in behind.
The reason why that works so well is Berger tips it on, they get a good carry over the gain line, and then he clears out very quickly. Very astute play from Saracens.
Well, the angle was too much in the end for Farrell, but this finish is worth having another look at.
Yeah, they got the drive going initially, and then it's the transfer of ball always available. Look at this, goes in one side. It's a meeting of 2 mountains, isn't it? Bunapola and Tuisova. And then they're getting this success round the back. Look at that. Toulon committing men and not slowing the ball down quickly enough.
Better restart. And Toulon were up first, and Saracens lose the ball forward, so we're playing the advantage here as Toulouse board, the scrum half, goes on a little bit of a dart.
That is over now.
Gods is waiting, doesn't hold on to it long. Tran Duke, Guillaume Garrado, hit hard by Ray. Tran Duke comes back to the left. Toulouse board follows him. Olivon. This is Vigneulin. In the last fortnight or so after a knee injury. Now, drop goal. Tran Duke charged down by Bunapola. And it's gathered in by Samu Manoa, who doesn't hold on to it long. Juan Martin Fernandez Lobe.
Done well to stay in field there, Nick.
Manoa on his knees to keep that ball alive, and oh dear, Jackson Ray, centre of that collision. Tran Duke, Nonu, Tuisova's not far away. And poor old Florian Frazier's back on his feet, having come off second best in the bump with Ray. And Saracens have the ball back. Bunapola.
Really getting up quick, Saracens. That defender getting up on the first receiver, putting Toulon under all kinds of pressure.
Already seen the influence, though, haven't we, of Mike Ford with those little passes in behind, trying to get the tackle 2 or 3 further out. Charged down by Billy Vunipola. He really has become such a good rugby player, hasn't he, over the last 18 months. It's that work rate all over the field. Look at the number of Saracens players in every single picture, every shot.
6.
There's 2 Toulon guys in there, and there's the collision.
Could have been a no arms, but he at least attempted.
Gerardo on the 10-metre line.
There's a penalty against Toji. Referee just put his arm away because Toulon have got a nice little drive going here. Really long in the driving wall here.
Tuisova, as he does to such good effect and has already this season, coming back in field. He set up a startling try last weekend against La Rochelle. Nonu, who missed that game with concussion. Decision to kick not going down well with the locals. And Matt Carraro, who Bath fans will remember, fielding the ball for Halfpenny, who was under a lot of pressure to get that ball away as Farrell hunted him down. And Farrell just has a little look over his right shoulder to make sure that Lee Halfpenny knew that it was him on the chase.
Yeah, Tuisova showing great strength here, but Nonu wanted to put the grubber in behind, but mishit it straight into the hands of Good, who puts a lovely kick in. And Saracens doing what they do brilliantly, just dominating field position.
Time off, please.
There's something else that they do really well. Stop the game, reset, get ready to go again, take a knee.
I think Jackson Ray on this occasion, Austin, probably
he's
needs...
got a reasonable excuse.
I'm not saying he's faking or anything. I just they do this so well. They slow the game down. Listen to the crowd now. No noise. There's no passion. That's exactly what Saracens want from it. But what they're going to need to do is keep stopping this guy. He's already on one carry into congested traffic. He makes ground against two world-class defenders in Barrett and Bosch.
Taken by Cruz. And this is Berger.
Great pick-up from Berger.
Ray, who is quickly engaging fifth gear. He seems fine. Billy Vanapola. Oh, very neat sidestep that sold a couple of Toulon defenders. Wigglesworth scrabbling for the ball for Gallo. Jamie George is on the charge, and here he goes through a giant hole. Perfect, and the try will be scored, and what a moment for Wigglesworth. Saracens have two against Toulon, and we've not played 20 minutes.
Oh, it's an unbelievable score. We talked about Gerardo, but what about Jamie George? He picks these lines brilliantly. We've seen him do it for England time and time again. Starts with the attack from Vanapola. He saw that Toulon overchased, just held on the inside. Look at this for a line. Found beautifully from Farrell, and then he's got the temerity just to hold the ball up, the little step off the left foot and look for the inside support. A wonderful try from Saracens.
Absolute masterclass in picking out holes in the defensive line, and then inside support from Wigglesworth. Nonu overreads the play, slides off Jamie George, creates the hole. Has to be taken, to be fair. And then that great support line for Wigglesworth, straight up the middle of the field, exactly where you want your 9 to be. Saracens in complete control.
Time is off.
It's just wonderfully read by Jamie George. He was on his bike before the pass was given. He created the hole. It was a break that he'd have been impressed by. We're not going to lose Mathieu Bastereau today, are we?
Not unless we've got to clean the floor.
Okay, time out, please.
Well, the lovely thing about that attack was that Owen Farrell had 2 or 3 different options. He chose the right one in Jamie George coming through the middle, and you thought this crowd were quiet. They're even quieter now.
The try scorer Wigglesworth off a left foot that got plenty of employment last Sunday into the arms of Vermeulen, and Benny has lost it. Jangly nerves, being hit on the chin. They're not used to it.
Completely rattled, aren't they? Saracens in total control. This is what you call rugby from the champions. They are playing exactly like that. True European champions.
Toulon just can't get a foothold in the game. The restarts have been okay, but after that, their phase play's been a bit too wide. Saracens' defensive line is completely owning their attack, and it might actually need the input of someone like Bastereau to make this game a lot more direct, a lot tighter.
Here we go. Seconds. We need 2. Let's go, boy. We need 2.
Nice and slow, boys. Slow. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sean Maitland, the only option on the right side of this scrum, the blind side nearest to us. Farrell and Barrett and Good and Bosch all lined to the right, but it is to Maitland that they go for, and he's chasing after it, and the bounce of the ball will be important, and he's gathered it, but as he got back to his feet, he lost it forward.
Desperately unlucky for Maitland. Beautifully weighted scrubber kick through.
6.
What I liked about that was the referee said use it. Saracens reacted really quickly, and even though they were running out of space on the short side, they created something. They turned what could have been potentially a negative or a zero play into a potential try, and if Maitland holds on to that and bounces back and offloads inside, another 5 points on the board.
The control of the scrum half Wigglesworth as well, Austin, off his right foot, not the foot that he uses all the time.
Look, he's well known for being one of the best kicking scrum halves in the game. Yes, there's other things that Ben Spencer potentially does better than him, but if you want a scrum half for control and getting your side into the right areas of the field, he's the best around. And actually for scoring tries under the posts as well.
Yeah. Okay, look at me, it's fine. Binder long. Longer binds, both of you.
So Juan Figallo enjoyed his first European final back in May. He was a replacement then, but starting today up against Florian Frazier. And at the base of the Toulon scrum, the mighty Dwayne Vermeulen. 36 Springbok caps down the years.
Well, he's going to need every one of them, Nick, as well, because this is a nasty little scrum for number 8, where they've got a free kick. But the free kick, you can't obviously kick it out in the full retained possession, so they might just decide to relieve the pressure a little bit here, having been under the cosh, because it's a nasty scrum down in the corner to get yourself out of.
He's a fine striker of a rugby ball, Trandu. But Saracens had plenty of time to reintroduce it, and here goes Good, and he went beyond Nonu. Important intervention from Fernandez Lobe. Atoje, oh, that's nicely done. Vunipola quickly away, and this is Cruz, and it's opening up again, and Cruz with a little step inside. And then Figallo climbs all over the top, but on we go. Vunipola.
Move on! Interfering. 17 interfering with Nanu.
Farrell and Berger, he's lost it.
The crowd can boo all they like, but it's quite simply unbelievable hands from the Saracens forwards. They're finding space at will.
Interfering with 9 or
Interference at the ruck. First, beautiful hands from Itoje, and then Vunipola with another tip on. And this is where Vunipola Senior just does the little show and go.
Yeah.
And Nonu's penalised for interfering at the breakdown. Look at this, wonderful from Itoje. I mean, that is left-handed passes from 2 type 5 forwards.
We often promote the skill levels in the Northern Hemisphere. To the All Blacks do that, we'd all be raving and saying, fantastic. Just seeing exactly the same style of play.
Jackson Ray's readying himself to come back on. He's past his head injury assessment. Mike Rhodes leaves us.
Changement pour les Saracens. Sortie du numéro 1, Mike Rhodes. Retour du numéro 6,
Hugely encouraging. Opening 20 minutes to the start of Saracens' defence of the title. They lead by 18 points to 3 in Toulon.
Time. Let's go, Fred.
Say it again, Nick. 18 points to 3 in Toulon.
Yeah, it's one-way traffic at the moment. We're going to start to see what Toulon are made of. Saracens are a hard enough side to beat when the score's level, but when you've got to come from behind, they will keep turning the screw, keep putting their foot on the throat and applying the pressure.
Restart's just a bit too long again. Cruz is having all the time in the world, Austin, to gather in and just dilute the pressure.
Yeah, the prior two from Tronduk were pretty good, but not happy, the ref, with the way they're competing.
Too many silly penalties now. We've got 9 being interfered with up here. The ruck is formed, using his hands. Need to cut them out, captain.
It's Mamuka Godzilla, as he's known back home, godlike in Georgia.
Look at the second rows, Nick, for Toulon. You think there's 4 sides to the stand here in Toulon, but there's actually 6.
Let's have a word with Alex Sanderson. Alex, the best bit of this first 20 minutes from a coach's point of view?
Well, winning, I guess. Getting all those charges. We've done really well in the opposition's half. And I know Austin's talking about the size of this Toulon pack. And you better that through technique and through unity in numbers. So we've done well in terms of winning those collisions because we've hit soft shoulders as opposed to running into 2 or 3 of Toulon's defenders. And we've had the edge of them in terms of the outcomes from the set piece so far with the mauls and the scrums.
Alex, the handling of your forwards, just that little tip on a couple of times has created the space out wide. Are you working on that?
I can't take any credit for that. I coach the defence and the scrums, but yeah, it's quite pretty to watch, and it's a lovely sunny day out in Toulon, so it's a bit of a spectacle for everyone back home, isn't it?
You've scored 1 try out wide and 1 pretty much through the middle with that Jamie George burst. Has that taken you by surprise, or is that something that you'd noted this week?
What, to score as many tries in quick succession?
You know what I mean.
No, I mean, we've worked hard on the attack this week because we're putting a lot of pressure on teams defensively and through our kicking game. We want to capitalise on that pressure. Having Faz come back in, and Al's done really well, Alawowski's done really well for us, but Faz come back in and Goody coming back in this week. The 2 brilliant attacking players, and the boys are just running well off them, aren't they?
Great. Thanks, Alex.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah. Your feet underneath.
I think that little unforced error from Saracens, probably the first mistake they've really made in the game, and it's given Toulon a little bit of field position for which they've earned the penalty. And of course now, instead of going for goal, 18-3 down, they've got to go for the corner.
A little bit of pressure in the scrum on Juan Fagallo at the moment. That's an area that they might feel they can work on. Net result of that latest penalty, an attacking opportunity from this throw. Guillem Garrado, captain of his country now, given the job ahead of the Six Nations by Guy Noves earlier in the year. Ticks out. Hernandez Lobe.
They've smuggled that and turned it over. When you do the shift drive, which they did there, you always run the risk of losing the ball. That's a wonderful turnover.
Habana. Is that the first time we've mentioned his name? I think it might be. Halfpenny. But look at Saracens' red shirts up so quickly. They are competing at that breakdown to slow it down and maybe do more than slow it down. They've won it back again, and 2 turnovers in quick succession, and Saracens have earned themselves 70 metres. And the bouncing ball even does its job in front of Tuaseba.
Well, that's Saracens encapsulated in a couple of plays there defensively. At 18-3, they could have taken their foot off the gas, but they muscled up, forced the initial turnover. Lovely kick from Wigglesworth, and then all made even better by the kick chase. This is the turnover. It's that man Atoji with the padlock in over the top. Gets his arms over, swings it round, and then Berger ripping the ball. It's men against boys at the moment, and the boys are international rugby players.
One of those men's only 21 years old.
It's Olivon who went up highest.
Just on the arm, he didn't get it, okay?
And the penalty goes against George Cruz. 23-year-old Frenchman who's won a couple of caps. No Joan Smith in the Toulon back row today. He's got a bicep problem. He'll be out until Christmas. Couple of options for you on BT Sport right now. We can offer you Leinster against Cast in Pool 4, across on BT Sport 3 right now. And this evening we'll take you to Llanelli. Scarlets against Sale in Pool 3 in this pool. Tomorrow, Sunday tea time, Chiefs against Claremont in Pool 5 at 5:15. And everything rounded up neatly tomorrow night at 7:45 BT Sport 2. Hernandez Lobe was calling for it, and it was behind Gorgodze to Trandug. And it is not sweet Toulon music right now.
It's not, and that is Mike Ford all over it, that play. You hit through the middle, And then your next play is you try and concertina the defence, tighten it up, put the ball out the back. But it showed a side that's not quite ready to just do it yet. As it comes to Chanduk, you want players on the outside running straight lines, not drifting lines. But once that clicks for them, they are going to offer a big, big threat on that wide channel against Sarries.
7, give it. Okay, 7. We'll give you time.
Keep the space there.
Samuel Manoa has been added to a lineup that he wasn't there initially for, but he couldn't stop Jamie George and Sarries securing possession. Wigglesworth, Maitland chasing it. Habana will try and leap highest, and he did leap highest. It went backwards into the arms of his countryman, Vermeulen. Habana over the head of Vunipola.
It showed all his experience there, Habana, because that kick from Wigglesworth was a really testing one, but it just turned his body enough of an angle so that if he did knock it on, the ball went backwards. And then, having seen that and taken the ball flat, he finds a space in behind Vunipola.
It's Mike Ford in the distance beyond Dominguez. Brought in to add a few go-faster strikes to this Toulon team to pin their ride, I guess, just to add some structures, but on the other hand, provide what he provided at Bath a couple of seasons ago. That's what Boujalal hopes he's brought in. Wigglesworth trying to create some room. Gorgodze going over the top acrobatically, and Habana on halfway, selecting the gears and then slipping on surface that would have been soaked by a storm in this part of the world last night. Not the weather we have today. It was horrible, and it might just be a little bit damp on top, and it is starting to cut up. Toulouse board, releasing Olivon.
Well, the crowd thought that tackle was a little bit high on Olivon.
There's Tuasova. Girardo. That's nicely done. Olivon trying to cotton on to it, but once again, the quality of Saracens' work on the floor, and this is Berger after the hard graft of a Atoje. Lee Halfpenny. Ball was touched, so everybody is onside, including Martin Nonu. We will reset with the scrum.
Just go back. We have a flag against red player. Okay.
Looks like they're going to look back at the Atoje tackle over the shoulder.
Not your concern for the moment?
Yeah. At the previous ruck over there, I have the red second row entering into the ruck with shoulder.
Oh, it's not.
So penalty only, or do you want to review?
My only doubt is where he has made contact with the shoulder, so it might be worth having a look.
Okay.
It's not the high tackle, it's a side entry into
George Cruz clear out.
By red 4.
Okay. Let's review both, and we take the most advantageous if they both are penalties.
Okay. There, which is Mario Atoje.
I think they're looking at where he made the contact, because
Well, that's fine.
it's just high. That's just high.
Olivon running into the shoulder.
your
Well,
high
I don't
side,
think that's a penalty. I think it's just a attack over the shoulder on the ball. That's not high at all. He's tackled the ball. I think that's fine. The crowd can boo as much as they like,
Simon,
but
let's move on to the second one, please.
Johnny, we can't find the side entry. We can't find it on the pictures. Just repeat that, Mark.
Okay, Simon, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the high tackle advantage over here if you can't find it. It's in a better position in front, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Johnny.
Yeah. Okay, I'll speak to 4. Okay, guys, listen to me. I have just a high tackle on you, just a penalty only, be careful. I have an entry with your shoulder, be careful. We're going to give a penalty here in the most advantageous position.
We do know that referees like John Lacey are being very careful around how players enter the breakdown at the moment, Lawrence, and those kind of flying shoulders and the concussion that it can sometimes cause.
Yeah, I think, just to clear that up, I think the penalty was actually probably against Cruz for the 2 phases later for his entry without the shoulders, but they couldn't see that on the video, they couldn't find it, so they went back to the slightly high tackle made by Mauro Toji.
Which the French director then repeatedly played in slow motion 5 times. It's a difficult one because I think what we're seeing is starting to see the evolution of the video referee and the officials doubting themselves in making cast iron decisions, and it's affecting the game. It's good when it works well, but the long-term effect is the referees lose their autonomy, as do touch judges, and they start to doubt themselves. The last thing you want from an official.
Lee Halfpenny with 3 much-needed points, doubling Toulon's tally to half a dozen. Saracens still with a healthy lead as we bear down on half-time. At the break, by the way, we're going to be joined by Matt Gitu, one of Toulon's walking wounded at the moment. Matt Gitu will be with us for the remainder of the match. We'll hear from him at the break.
Advantage knock on.
Saracens with possession from the restart. And Cruz.
Tackler move now, advantage over.
Ray accelerating.
Arriving player number 2, holding.
Jamie George, picked out by John Lacey.
Yeah, I think Jackson Ray just got himself caught long. That's the first time that Saracens have found themselves isolated at the breakdown, and George having to come in at the side. But again, there's a big difference between the kickoffs from Toulon, which are going straight to Saracens. They're either giving a penalty away, and the opposite way round, where Saracens are really applying the pressure.
All right, Mark. Where are we?
It's George coming in, trying to remove Girardo from the equation and giving away the penalty, which Toulon have driven up to halfway, just a little bit beyond. Toulon already 8 games into the top 14 season. They've been okay. Beat Toulouse in Toulouse, wins against Montpellier and Clermont. Then a hard-fought draw away to La Rochelle last weekend. Have had a good start themselves. Very much second best in this opening Champions Cup contest so far, despite the best efforts of Vermeulen, the captain. Picked up by Frezier.
Yeah, I won't be there.
I was waiting, but it's Trandu who will launch it high. And good. Strides towards it on the 10-metre line. He was tackled by Carraro.
No.
Berger. Headlong into Gorgodze. Which normally signals the end of a journey, and it did there.
Outside.
Farrell. Vermeulen chasing round well, and the quality of the tackle there from Bosch. And then Atoje got his foot to the ball. Tranduc to Asova. He doesn't mind working off the back foot. He can create magic. Finds Nonu. This is Habana. A string of pearls linking up together there. Big names, all of them. And then Manoa walloped backwards by Mako Vunipola and Tuasova. It's starting to heat up a little bit as Saracens press the defence and Toulon look to press the accelerator. Gorgodze, Tranduc, a no-look pass. Finds Halfpenny. Tuasova again. He's playing like an inside centre at the moment.
Off feet, no! No, off feet. No, he's off his feet. Use it!
Chili Chavez hanging around the edge, but it was Olivon.
No 7, rock 4 now.
Going nowhere, and they have to resort to the right boot of Francois Tranduc. The right boot of Alex Good. Back to Tranduc. And because Good had travelled forwards, Maitland has to travel backwards. Once again, Tuasova locked in his own 22 to Halfpenny. And again Halfpenny slips. It's some longer studs at half-time.
Onside. Rock! No rock.
Oh, the ball's been wonderfully stolen by Garado. Gorgodza, a rise in temperature, and brilliantly taken, but it's gone forward. It was the link between Halfpenny and Trandu that caused their undoing.
Well, the crowd are screaming. They obviously one-eyed thought it was level, but it was clearly forward. The Toulon players just got themselves caught a bit flat there and tipped that on, but it went forward.
Spot on, Hitchy.
Mentioned Halfpenny really struggling to get any purchase. Even then, when he went to pass, the reason why the pass went to floor, yeah, it wasn't great technique, but if you can't get your standing foot deep into the turf, you're effectively passing with just your arms and you lose all your power. Exactly what happened there. A number of occasions now, he's slipped over, he's lost his purchase foot when he's kicking.
Ear to ear start.
Talking a lot about Mike Ford in this first half. Martin Bayfield came down here start of the week, did a big chat with him, and we've wrapped it up for you tonight at 7:15, talking about how he fell out of love with the game when Bath gave him the boot at the end of last season. But he's been re-inspired by the challenge that he finds here on the Côte d'Azur. Able to listen to what Mike had to say to us before Scarlets and Sale set to it at Parker Scarlets at 7:45 this evening.
Come on, mate.
Crouch.
Well, it's been quite an opening 34 and a bit minutes, isn't it? And Saracens 18-6 ahead.
Set.
Got Toulon exactly where they want them.
2 Saracens tries, Sean Maitland and Richard Wigglesworth. Maitland's finish was something else. Wigglesworth set up by the burst from Jamie George through the middle. And the pack continue to enjoy themselves.
Well, we thought the scrum might be an area that Saracens would look to get dominance. They've been utterly brilliant in this area in the Premiership. And conversely, Toulon have struggled, losing 1 out of 5 scrums on their own ball.
Yeah, somewhere here.
So Saracens really attacking in this area. No surprise this time that Bosch steps up.
Time check, please, Simon.
Gives Farrell a rest.
How much time? Is that right?
Yeah. 5 minutes. 5 minutes
Skipper.
left.
Skipper.
Simon McDowell confirming to John Lacey exactly how long we have left to the break. And Marcelo Bosch, who's well known in these parts, back in France after spending time with Biarritz a while ago. He actually played in the 2010 Heineken Cup final against Toulouse. Racing will need no reminding of his acumen from this distance off the tee. And here he is again, sizing up a long distance target.
Sorry? About 4.5.
Barely seemed to hit it. It's still no issue with the distance. Purely one of direction. Wiles gathered it in for the fullback good. Wigglesworth, Billy Vanapola. Jackson Ray adding his weight to provide a little bit of momentum. Cruz, Figallo offered himself, but in the end collected nothing more than Mamuka Gorgodza. Good again. Halfpenny with plenty of time.
10p7.
First time we've seen Saracens run out of ideas or control that phase. They really got hit in the midfield.
Make an effort if...
And went to restart. Very unlike Saracens so far we've seen this season, just aimlessly kicking the ball away, but we're allowed to make one mistake away from home. The 3 times champions back garden.
Yeah, they still managed to get the ball back though, haven't they? And that's the key, you know, as they look to run the clock down into the end of this first half. Dominating possession, dominating territory.
I think they'd like 3 points though, Lawrence. 3 points just takes it outside the 2 scores.
George takes the tackle.
No, it's fine.
Wigglesworth has
Use it!
Berger closest to him. He doesn't hold on to it long. This is Mako Vunipola, does really well, and now Farrell, he's looking for a little bit of support. Barrett provides it. This is Bosch, runs straight through the middle. Saracens searching for what would be a third try before half-time. Lining up to the left-hand side. Cruz, Atoje, Wiles will be the last link, and Wiles will score. Three tries for Saracens before half-time in the Mediterranean sunshine. Days do not get much better than this.
Brilliant, brilliant rugby.
Thank you.
1 to 15, footwork from a loose head prop, an offload, and then don't panic. Keep the ball alive, pick a line, come back to the inside, find your pack, recycle. Look at this footwork from Vunipola, sensational play.
We'll have a restart.
Look at the offload out the back door. Bosch comes back on the inside, which holds the defence, and when they go back the other way, just wonderful hands. Atoje didn't panic, straightened the line and passed it out.
2 second rows, George Cruz on the move, 20-metre spin pass into Atoje, draw and pass, try, simple rugby, executed really well from an English team.
And right now, Toulon, the 3 times champions, are being rinsed. And another 2 points. My goodness, this does not happen to Toulon at home. This does not happen.
It's unbelievable there. Carving them open at will every time they've got the ball. Retaining possession, making the line breaks, putting in the offloads, getting in behind, and then keeping their composure and their shape and structure in attack. Some wonderful handling for the forwards.
Billy Vunipola, who played his part in that, and again, creating sonic booms whenever he's on the ball, as he did last season when he really came of age. You do have to blink. You have to blink. Half-time here at the Stade Félix Mayol. Wigglesworth with a try, Maitland with a try, Wiles with a try, Saracens with 3 of them, and they lead Toulon at half-time by 25 points to 6.
Guys, I'd like to be talking to you here in a more positive light, but it's been a rough first half, hasn't it, Matt?
Well, it has, but you've got to give credit to Saracens. I think they've been playing really well. Their forwards in particular, they're just the shape they're in, their ball handling, their skills, everything they're doing has been perfect. And I mean, as much as we're not actually performing the way we want to, they're playing very well, and they're not letting us play.
Let's look at the tries. We'll look at the first one from Maitland, because the finish was absolutely outstanding, James, isn't it?
Yeah, look, that's why it's good.
So it's the kick from Farrell that starts it off, and that's why he's back in this team. The position he puts his team in is incredible, isn't it?
Look, you can just see there, it's very clinical. They obviously drilled very well, taking the ball to the line. The ruck speed's very quick as well, and look, they're just gelling very nice.
But every pass, you look at even the forwards, all their passing is in front. Their skills, I think, I've been really, really impressed with the forwards and their skills.
Look at that line there as well.
I mean, Jamie George scored 2 tries last week in the Premiership, and the guy is so comfortable with ball in hand. We talk about the All Blacks. Saracens aren't doing too badly on that front either, are they?
For me, they're the form team. You know, I thought that before the game. I thought they're the team to beat this year, and they're showing that. That first half, you can't really fault too much that they did. I think they gave away 2 penalties. That was it.
Chris Wilde's try, I think, epitomises what's so good about this Saracens performance so far. Let's have a look at it, boys. Talk us through it. Matt, you start.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just a missed tackle, that's just a bit of fatigue, but they're working us around really well. You see how they don't dive with the ball. It's very hard to get your line set. And again, I mean, it's just, if you look here at the end, the forwards that are involved here, I think it could even be Atoje at the very end. He takes it all the way to the winger, draws him, puts the winger away. I think just their skills, as I said, you can't fault them. What they're doing is they're doing clinically.
It's just good footy. Look, they're playing field position, they're kicking corners well. We're not exiting too well, and then look, squaring players up like that. It's tough to defend against. They're playing very well.
Now, you two boys nursing injuries at the moment. James, you did play last week, and we're seeing Mike Ford obviously involved with Toulon now. I'm wondering who's doing the talking in the dressing room now for Toulon, and what will he be saying?
Well, obviously we'll split up forwards and backs, so Mike will take the backs there, and I guess there's a fair bit to say. I think we can close the gate a lot better, but look, we're going to have to kick a lot better in the second half. We're going to have to play field position, and definitely coming off the sides. We're trying to play a little bit too much. We can't be doing those link passes. We've got to play through them, and as Matt said before, come on those blind sides a little bit, and play the line a bit more.
Matt, very quickly, what's the fix for Toulon in the second half?
I think you've got to change where the ball's going. They like to fold the same way and put pressure on you with their line speed. So we've just got to keep changing the direction. Play the short side, play around the ruck, offloads, and we've just got to execute a lot better.
Good to see you, James. You can go off and enjoy the rest of the game if you can. Matt, you're going to stay with us for full time. But Saracens are having a wonderful, wonderful day in the south of France sunshine. Can Toulon respond? Find out after this short break. The worrying thing for Toulon today is Saracens haven't done well in the score-trying charts against French sides. That seems to have changed today. Ominous, surely.
Well, exactly. People say that they're not creative, but they are very creative. They're just good at what they do. It's simple, but everyone executes it well. It's hard to stop, and as I said before, you can't fault them. They're playing brilliant rugby.
More from Matt Gitto at full-time, but for now, Nick Mullins.
Well, it is one of the traditions of this place that the locals, when they think the match is over, normally around the 75th minute, launch their newspapers in the air. Half-time, they were launching their newspapers in the air. They think this game might be gone already after a first 40 that has just had you rhapsodising, Lawrence.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Matt Gitto talked about brilliant rugby, and he knows a thing or two about that. But given the quality of the opposition, given they're playing in a stadium that's been unpenetrable, I think it's one of the best 40 minutes of European rugby we've ever seen.
Austin, we're hearing that at half-time Owen Farrell was really laying into them. He was very animated down in the dressing room. What does that tell you?
Well, I think you said it in the build-up to the game, Nick. He's a test match animal. He wants to crucify the opposition. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to come back into the side and really put as many nails in the Toulon coffin as he possibly can. And it's a mark of the man. It's the mark of the player. He's so uncompromising in his desire to win and his desire for perfection, either off the tee or running rugby, that he can drive the team. And why rest? Why rest on your laurels? First game back, they could have played zebra, they could have played an easy game and won with ease, but winning here and winning in style sets down a massive marker.
Toje takes the line out. Vunipola to George. Picked up by Maitland, who got the thing going with a wonderfully finished try, but Skultberger coming in from the wrong position just halts Saracens for the time being. We were chatting at half-time, and one of the things you noted at half-time, Oz, looking at the team sheet, was an interesting comparison between the two.
Yeah, you take Skultberger out. Saracens have got world-class players, but they're all young world-class players. They're all guys that have got a big international future ahead of them. Toulon, conversely, have got a load of great players, but pretty much had their careers. And it's that hunger, that desire, that just gives you an extra yard. Yes, the experience counts for a lot, but when you're against a player that is so good and young, you're onto a loser.
Line out one by Charles Olivon. And this is Nonu. Toulouse board. Saw very little of him as an attacking threat in that first 40 minutes. Toulon with the penalty. Habana fast-stepping to Nonu. They've had easier first halves. Starting for the first time after recovering from concussion. Ball lost forward, but we will come back for the penalty.
Yeah, Saracens, one thing they did very well in that first half, whenever Toulon had got the ball, is they managed to slow it down without giving away the penalty. There, suddenly, Toulon chasing the game, they've had to up the tempo, and Saracens have just killed it.
Well, that was for our feet.
Halfton has taken off his hat. He's sizing up the posts. Matt Gitto talking about the importance of his side scoring the first points of this second half. It's from long distance, but 1 or 2 euros on halfpenny here. By the way, via Rob Vickerman, who's reporting for us today, that Saracens coaches, as they were coming out after the break, were saying we have to keep the tempo. Cannot decelerate here.
You don't want to sit back and defend. You know, you've got to play ball in hand. Don't invite pressure onto you by just defending. That's what the messages will be.
Come up in your way, mate.
The complication of the sun setting in his eyes. Sends the ball on its way. If he keeps it straight, he'll add 3 more points, which he does. First European game for Lee Halfpenny since the final against Clermont 18 months ago. But certainly kicking-wise, he's back in the groove, and there's a smile on the face of Matt Gitter.
He's got what he wanted. He's got the first points of the half, but unfortunately it's just a penalty, just 3. They're going to need a few more than that.
Carrara. Awkwardly, but gets the ball and lays it back over the top of his head.
Use it!
Nonu was waiting, but Toulouse board cleared it to Billy Vunipola. And off he goes again, and through the tackle of Olivon. Beyond Berger to Cruz. Again, just straightens things up, presses the reset button. Saracens going one more time with Mako Vunipola again, just prodding what they hope might be a soft underbelly. Ray. Manoa was there. Ray turned it back. Farrell and Barrett under lots of pressure, and he needed some help from Bosch, but the tackle wasn't a legal one. And
no, not for me. Simon?
Yes, Johnny?
I want to review that, please.
Simon,
12 white and 12 red, please.
Simon McDowell is the
Okay,
television
we'll get it on for you now.
official. 12 white is Martin Nonu.
May just be the knees dropping into the back.
Just catches him in the ribs. I don't think there's anything. It's
No,
how he puts him down, Austin.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. This angle.
Oh, well, he's going to the bin.
Yeah.
Simon, just on my first view of that, he's lifting above the horizontal, left him go, so that's a yellow card for me.
I agree.
That's pure frustration from Arnonu. He's had a really tough first half. He's been pulled in every single direction in defence.
12, please.
Nonu trots across. In fact, he doesn't even bother to trot across. He's trotting off, but he will be called back into the headmaster's study before.
Left him go in the air and turn him, it's a yellow card for me.
And again, just referring back to that Matt Tamura incident at Scotstoun last night, he's saved from a red because Barrett didn't land on his head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Russell put his arm down, which stopped Tamur from being sent off, you could argue, but he's not had the best 45 minutes of his illustrious career, Martin Nonu, this afternoon. He got caught wanting for when Jamie George made the break through the middle. Found himself in the sin bin now, but looked decidedly unlike himself throughout that first 45.
Seeing the likes of Maxime Mermoz, who took a knock against La Rochelle. Drew Mitchell also amongst the injured there. Not exactly feeling sympathy for Toulon when they can bring in Martin Nonu, but they're not at full strength. Particularly now, they'll be down to 14 for the next 10 minutes and maybe 3 points further adrift. Farrell exacts immediate revenge and restores their 19-point lead.
Yeah, he won't want to be removed from the fray, Owen Farrell, having this being his first game of the season, but you just feel that, given that they've got so much rugby ahead of them, might start to warm up Lazowski and get him on.
That was wonderfully done by Fernandez Robbe, and then the frustration, you can hear it. French accented frustration.
Okay. No advantage. Yeah, okay, Mark. Okay.
As Lazowski, first European game for his new club. Played in Wasps' big win against Toulon last November, and he's coming into what might be a big win for Saracens in October.
Yeah, quality player, showed his quality already this season. But I was just thinking about Nonu and the rumours that we'd heard of maybe Bristol were going to pay €1 million for him, £1 million. How much would you have to pay to get a Toji? 20, 30 million pounds?
Have to go back to your yacht in the harbour, Oz, to put an extra few notes on the pile. It's a tough day for Jacques Delmas and co.
Obviously now with Nono in the bin, Austin and scrum centre field, be interested to see how Toulon shape up in defence. There's 4 against 3 on this left-hand side.
Well, the left-hand side's actually numbered up 4 on 4. If you count the scrum half on the inside to this board, he gets to the inside of Farrell. On the far side is where they're at risk, because normally you overload the blind side defensively as a back. Stand 3 against 2 because you get the 9 coming round the corner. The most important defender becomes Teelis Board in this situation, where he's got to either work to that far side or put pressure on Farrell as quickly as he can.
Bind. Set. Okay. No stable scrum. We go again. Sorry.
Front rows as they were in the first half. Mako Vunipola, Jamie George and Juan Figallo against Florian Frazier. Ian Garado with a headband on and Nevan Chilichava. They've been starting with the South African Marcel van der Merwe at the start of the season, but he hurt himself against La Rochelle last weekend, so it is the hefty Georgian prop slotted in there today.
Crouch! Through the mark. Bind. Set. Hinging down.
Decision going against Frazier on the far side.
Hinge down. This side.
I think it could have gone against Chilichava on this near side as well. He ended up losing his footing as well. And again, Saracens, without having to do anything, able to clear the pressure.
This side. This. The next drum. I will come this side, okay?
This goes both sides of the scrum, but the referee decides to penalise Frazier.
Xavier Shockey, replacement loose head when they need him. Saracens interesting line out, sets them off again with Bosch, and this is Maitland striding through. Off in search of what would have been a bonus point scoring try. It won't come just yet, it's been stripped away, and Tuisova hammers it away. Backpedaling, Alex Good, back after his bang to the knee against Harlequins. Halfpenny, Wales' autumn squad, named by Rob Howley on Tuesday. Very short odds that he'll be involved.
Look at that, though. It's really sensible, smart, intelligent football, that. They lose the ball in the wrong area of the field. Ball goes back. Alex Good, no messing around, just puts it down into the corner. Forces Halfpenny to kick out on the full, and Saracens retain possession on the 10-metre line.
2 Saracens changes in the front row. Jamie George replaced by Sculpt Brits and Richard Barrington. Or rather, Petrus Duplessis has come on for Juan Figallo at tight head. Tojo again, so athletic to find Billy Vunipola. Brits involved immediately.
Turnover is good.
And the ball's been won back. There were enough white shirts there, and Merritt was there.
It's against red. It's against red.
Simon McDowell just having a word in John Lacey's ear, the TMO. So we'll come back for that. Trandu. Ball's been lost by Fernandez Lobe.
Yeah, Brad Barrett could be in trouble here, Nick.
Johnny, I've seen a high tackle against by 12 red. So what? It's on the screen now.
It's just a penalty for me.
It's a high tackle. That's it, though.
General consensus that if the TMO is going to come, and it's got to be for at least a yellow card. And I'm not sure that maybe those of you at home who think that that's worth having another look at, but
I think it's close to a yellow. It is very close, depending on the angle you watch it at, the speed you watch it at. But it brings up that point again, Nick, that if you're one of the 4 officials, you've got to be sure. Just be sure. Back yourself, go with the call, or don't make it.
What it does do is it gives Toulon the opportunity to pump the ball deep into Saracens territory. The last time they did this, Saracens forced the turnover, so you feel at 28-9 they really do have to get something out of this attack.
Before that attack changes, Romain Taoufi-Fanua, French test player, is on for Samu Manoa, and Xavier Shoki. Change that we signalled a few minutes ago is replacing Florian Frazier in the front row. So Brad Barrett is still on the pitch and part of this defensive effort for Saracens now. Gerardo taking out Olivon. My goodness, how they need this. Saracens pushing them towards that touchline, but they might not have done enough. Cabana flying like a wedge underneath it. This is Gerardo. Gorgodza's looking at it with interest, as is Taoufi-Fanua.
That Bermuda that takes it over the top.
Tilly Spord, eyes all over it, looking for the ball. Taken on by Chile Chava. Taoufi-Fanua is there as well. And then Olivon off the 30-metre board.
Penalty advantage coming.
Still they blast away with a French mallet. Chile Chava adding a Georgian edge. Taoufi-Fanua once more.
I feel they've got to take it a little bit wider to get any change out of Saracens.
Shoki's looking interested. The Muirland knocked backwards. Oh, yellow.
That might be against the Toji, is it?
Who is this for? It is against the Toji. So Saracens do eventually lose a man to the sin bin. It's not Barrett, it's the second row, Maro Itoje.
Yeah, it just came in at the side there and just flopped on the ball. And I think that was probably just carrying the can for the cumulative pressure. This is the actual penalty itself. Pretty tough, that one, but I think there was just a number of penalties that built up, and Itoje just bit the bullet.
For the next 90 seconds, both will play a man down. 90 seconds left on Nonu's yellow card. Itoje with 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, the man that thwarted their attack last time out in the first half is now removed from the field.
A bit more noise around the Felix Mail. Just a little bit more hope, maybe, but they will feel they have to score here. Vermeulen again repelled. Chile Chava on his own, throwing the right shoulder into Britt and some. He's made good ground there. Now Gerardo didn't make ground. He was hit backwards. Taoufi-Fanua. Door is rocking on its hinges. Another penalty's coming, but not before the try. And Chile Chava. And finally the Saracens door comes off the hinge. And finally Toulon have their opening try. And my goodness, did they need it.
Well, there was nothing beautiful about it. They just kept battering away, time and time again, going round the short side, testing the body positions of that Saracens defence. First, the Itoje takes one for the team and goes into the sin bin. Then Berger was about to be penalised before Chile Chava gets over.
And sometimes when you're in this situation, it's actually not a bad outcome, because if you're taking so much pressure, consistently committing penalties, you could lose 2 players to the bin, and then you're always going to concede a try after that. So in a lot of ways, not ideal, but not the worst that could have happened to Saracens in that situation.
See the new stand that's being built in the far side, or at least filling in the 2 stands that'll eventually take the attendance up to 22,000 here at the Mail. It's the harbour side of the ground. That's the direction that Halfpenny, as he shields his eyes, is trying to sail this ball now. It's a 7-point French punch, and they are up to within a dozen points, and Bastereau's on.
Yeah, Berger there just lying on the ball. Referee would have been interested to see if he had gone to the penalty, whether he'd have gone to his pocket again, but as Austin said, Toulon get the 5 points and then happily converted, and they've called for the cavalry. They've got some reinforcements on.
Bastereau on for Matt Carraro, by the way, so the former Bath man. Watch this like the rest of us from the sidelines. Toulouse board remains the scrum half. Vunipola underneath it. He was being put under pressure by Tranduc. It looked like it went forward, and eventually John Lacey agrees.
There's a nice kick. The Toulouse board put Vunipola under a lot of pressure. It's difficult when you're playing in the backfield there. You've got to come a long way to catch that ball, as Vunipola did there. You can sometimes just get your timing a little bit wrong, as he did, and Toulon just building the pressure. You can sense the crowd getting behind their team.
6.
Jackson Ray reaches the end of his 150th appearance for Saracens, and he's replaced by Mike Rhodes. I think we can all feel it. This feels like a very big 10 minutes, doesn't it?
Just where I put it there.
Massive 10 minutes. I mean, such a tight group, this. You know, losing at home would be bad enough, but losing without picking up anything like a bonus point or any points would be a real blow for Toulon. So they've got to keep fighting, got to keep staying in the game.
Thank you very much.
Toulon now with a man advantage because Nono is back in the fray alongside Bastereau.
Yeah, let's go. Crouch.
Saracens pack that's having to do without the toe J.
Set. And release 7. Away 7.
Berger being told to let it go, which he does. Talfi for Nua.
Stay.
Nonu. Oh, dear me. And then Cruz comes in. And Habana tried to make the best of that kick. There's Mako Vunipola. Brits waits. A bit of hesitation, so Britt says to Wigglesworth, kick it and I'll chase it. And he caught it. To Asova. He bashed Farrell out of the way. Nonu. Second time he's kicked the ball in quick succession.
We didn't really have much choice there. He's just giving the ball down the short side, but Tuisova looks like the most dangerous person that can really unlock this Saracens defence. Just bumps off players at will. It's not often you see that happening to that Farrell that he knocked over.
Knocked Farrell backwards, that's a rarity.
I have no choice.
But then you just, when the ball came down the short side, you thought, well, you've just got a little bit of positive energy. You've just knocked someone back from Saracens. Go again. Or Nona decides to put the ball on the ground and makes 7 metres into touch. I think it's a strange decision. I know they were numbered off 3 on 3, but he's more Nonu. He's played over 100 times for the All Blacks.
Okay, so in that area, I want players clean out of that area, roll away. That's fine. I've spoken
seems
to
to
him, so
lack a bit of confidence at the moment. You know, when you're a player that's played in that form, look at him, he's biting his fingernails.
Cost him a little bit of cash as well, Nonu.
Time on.
He wouldn't come cheap.
Numbers,
just a player that's used to playing in a wonderful structure like the All Blacks. You come in here and hasn't got that same structure, and no matter how good you are as an individual, you've got to fit into that team pattern as well.
Cruz under some pressure from Talfi for Nua. Repels it. A renewed interest from Toulon. Playing a man to the good. And with the hope that that try has given them. Vunipola. Rhodes. This is game management, Lawrence. Without a Toje, just wearing down the clock.
Yeah, they haven't got to chase the game, have they? Just put pressure on.
That chase was good, putting pressure on Tuasova.
Outside, boys.
Saracens players down injured, so they're having to defend with 13 at the moment. That player's Mako Bonapola. Got back to his feet rather groggily down below us. 3 minutes left for Saracens to work without a Toje.
Knock backwards, play on.
Barrett picked it up. Here goes Good. Looking for some space in the sunshine. Hour gone. Final quarter of a compelling opening match in this season's Champions Cup. Tuasova again. It's the position that he set up a blinder against La Rochelle a week ago.
Move 3.
Won't make it out of his 22 on this occasion, however. Nonu. Havana was calling for it.
Those two have come together over the years, haven't they? Nonu and Skoltberger.
Into space. Fernandez Lobe. Girardo. Tuasova.
Not held.
Gorgodze, ball away to Taufi Fanua. There's a little bit of space on that left-hand side if they can find it. Bastero to Nonu. Oh, he took it really well. He's got Habana to the left-hand side. 3 defenders to beat, and what a good job they did to bring him down.
They turned the ball over, Saracens. Thought Habana had done brilliantly there.
Well, I think Farrell might have, rather Good might have hurt himself repelling the threat of Habana. Temperature inside the ground has just been notched up a couple of degrees. Saracens working without a fullback at the moment, so Sean Maitland's filling the space.
Might be penalty advantage there.
Girardo. Gorgodze. Tackled by Bosch. Tuasova.
I think it's Wigglesworth that's down on the far side. And they've also lost Bosch now as well.
Saracens at the moment are defending with just a dozen. What can a dozen defenders do against Toulon? A Toje in the bin, players down, space opening up, and Habana with the run for the line. And those Toulon supporters who threw away their papers at half-time, throwing in the towel, might be thinking again.
Well, the papers go up in the air for the appreciation of that try. There are players from both sides littered across the field. Tuasova, who's been heavily involved, is down getting treatment on this side, as is Gorgodze. But my word, didn't Toulon stretch Saracens from end to end. Nonu, who's had an indifferent game thus far, combining well with Habana. Couldn't quite create the opening on the first occasion, but on that occasion, beautifully floated, long pass, and Toulon are right back in this game.
Not many people carry the tackle of Brad Barrett in the way Tower Fanua did. Barrett normally smashes somebody in that situation, blindsided, but Tower Fanua has got the strength and the size to ride it, and it's that pinch point and the offload that creates the space out wide.
Well, that's worrying news, however, for Toulon and also for Fiji, having just named them in their test squad to tour these parts in November.
That's proving to be a very expensive yellow card, Nick, for Saracens. First the Chilichava try, and then the Habana try.
You asked me at half-time, Nick, could Toulon come back? I said, no way, no chance. He slots this over. 2 penalties out.
Europe, eh? My goodness. What a tournament. What a game we have now.
Well, the champions, former champions, have shown exactly why they were the 3 times champions. Unbelievable effort to come off the ropes at half-time. They must have had the hairdryer treatment from their coaches. You cannot allow that to happen, but the quality of the players the character of the players. They've somehow found a way back into this game, largely down to the sin-binning of that man Itoje. 2 tries in that time. Game on.
Some animation on the face of Diego Dominguez now. Transition that began for him midway through last season. Now complete. He's fully replaced coach Bernard Laporte. He's riding along with all of us now. Saracens preparing to bring on Alex Lazowski, but they haven't just yet. Maro Itoje's back with us. And it looks like Pierre Bernard has come on for Joshua Tuisova. John McKee, the Fiji coach, will be concerned to see Tuisova carried off. Pierre Bernard with us.
As Lawrence said, he was really the spark that reignited Toulon. Tuisova. Saracens just need to get the ball, need to retain possession, but play the same way as they did early on in the first half. They've lost all their tempo.
They do have Itoje back. Vunipola. Farrell, who's still with us.
Turnover's good.
Oh, Toulon have won it back.
It's a great turnover. I think it's a combination of Gorgadze and Vermeulen.
Chocky. There's a hint of the forward about that from Toulouse-Bourg.
Fantastic defence from Cruz. Didn't commit himself, backed off like a winger. Let Toulon make ground, but they didn't make a break.
No. 7 move.
It's really smart footy from Gorgadze. He just realised that they didn't have numbers there, and instead of going crashing in off his feet, he just stayed on his feet, invited Berger onto him. When you've got the strength that he's got, he just having a little wry smile to himself. Bought himself a little bit of time there and drew the penalty out of Saracens.
Trandu from hand. And Toulon will have the line out on the 22.
All the local Toulon children have been sent down to the base of the stand to pick up the newspapers. They're currently being handed back out to all the supporters.
Don't close the space now.
A bit of language that we could probably have done without, so apologies for that.
6, okay.
You were fine. You were fine.
Just checking.
No, you were great.
I'm never sure.
Saracens weren't halfway up the castle walls, they were almost over them at half-time. But look at the situation now, what it means to defend their own citadel, what it means to Toulon. 13 gripping minutes to go. A little bit of relief, much needed relief for the Londoners.
Yeah, they'll be mightily relieved. Just getting a bit tasty. Referee just calming both sets of players down. It was almost too good a 40 minutes for Saracens. When you get that far in front, you know, you can't say to players they'll sit back off them. It just happens naturally sometimes. You're almost too far in front and you invite that pressure on, and that's exactly what's happened.
That mental edge, isn't it, that you speak about? You want to be right on the edge of the game, and if you just feel a little bit of comfort, only needs to be 1 or 2% off, Nick, and to be fair, you were the only one who spotted it.
Changement pour le rugby club toulonnais, sortie numéro 22, Eric Escan, retour du numéro, Ryan Abana.
Clean, lad. Clean blood here, please. Time is still off.
Manasseh Saulo, the Fijian prop who remember made his debut here against Wasps last season. First time we've seen him this season. He's into the front row on the right-hand side, replacing the try scorer Levan Chilichaba. He was the man who started to turn the pages for Toulon. His try.
Well, they just needed something to get themselves back into the game, didn't they? Suddenly the confidence starts flowing back, the belief starts flowing back, the crowd are in full voice.
Saracens have brought on Ben Spencer. It's a good scrum.
a tough call, you know, on Toulon.
Not driving straight.
Thought the referee could have reset that. Done them for not driving straight, but you felt as soon as it started wheeling, it was then Saracens that drove it forward. And tough penalty against Toulon's side.
Penalty, what's now a brand new Toulon front row. Frazier, Guirado and Chilichava replaced by Choki, Saulo and Jean-Charles Orioli, who we haven't said hello to yet, the new hooker. Richard Wigglesworth is back on, so that was just a temporary replacement, and the lineouts being won by Gorgodze. Just beginning to untangle a little bit this for Saracens, and when it starts to untangle, you need somebody like Billy Vunipola to sort it out for you. And the penalty goes against Orioli because Wigglesworth didn't have both of his hands on the ball.
Yeah, frustrating from Toulon's point of view. Just got to stay calm.
Skipper.
5 points in this game. Needless penalty given away there.
Presume Wigglesworth is back from a HIA or stitches. Absolute bedlam when he went off. It was like a scene out of MASH. There was bodies all over the place.
It's going to be hot lips.
You can, Nick.
Okay.
Oh, great kick. Great kick.
Oh, he couldn't have placed it better.
Unbelievable. Can't tell you, that's gone from a line out here, or a scrum on their own 5-metre line, to a line out on the opposition 5-metre line. Massive swing.
All right, what about this? 10 minutes to go. Cruz claiming the line out. Saracens looking to re-stuff the cushion, which isn't as comfortable as it was 20 minutes ago.
Fernandez Lobe doing brilliant work initially to slow that down.
Use it! On your feet now! Back 5, back!
Billy Vunipola took a couple of steps backwards, and riding shotgun with him his brother Mako. Chris Wiles screaming for it.
3 points would be enough here for Saracens. Toulon got to be so careful for the no-arm tackle around the breakdown.
Tackle away now!
Mike Rhodes steps away to the right. He'll be providing the muscle for Mako Vunipola on this latest surge, and it's been stolen.
Tackle release!
The new man, the new prop, Manasseh Saulo. Usually loose from Saracens, that close to the line, and Mo Nonu goes beyond Cruz, and he needs to be stopped if Saracens aren't to be undone again.
Habana was calling for the kick, and it was on. Good step forward, closed off the option. Great defence, what a break, what a game.
Got to be a penalty against Saracens for slowing the ball down again. There's players littered all over the field. Unfortunately for Toulon, it's 3 of their players.
Time is up.
Vermeulen's there down, just getting, I think it's cramp he's got there. He's back on his feet.
Oh, hang on. Has
He's looking.
Berger been yellow carded here? No, I think he's been yellow carded.
He's deliberately slowing the ball down when they really got him behind. Love to see that again. You get away with it a couple of times, but because the break from Nonu was such a deep one, they really got him behind. Habana was screaming for the ball out on the left. If they'd have got quick ball there, they'd have been in.
Well, it would be one of the greatest ever wins in the history of this tournament for Saracens, but if they are to win now, they're going to have to do it without Schalk Berger, because he's gone for the duration.
Well, they're just looking back at the tackle on Olivon.
Yeah, he got really chopped down, but this is the ball. You could see Nonu just wanted someone to come on a line. Habana was too far away, and Berger does what all back row forwards do, slows the ball down, but the referee spots it. How far could Trondheim put this one downfield? Far enough.
You'd buy a season ticket if you live down here, wouldn't you?
Boys, discipline in here. If I have to go again,
They've just increased it to as many as they can get in here, haven't they?
Probably just get one of those flats on the other side, Nick. Doubles up. investing in property and you get to watch the game.
A studied approach to this line-out from Toulon as they attempt to grapple their way back from what was seemingly the dead. Jean-Charles Orioli, a little bit of a juggle, but they hold on to it. Saracens a reminder, without Berger now between now and the final whistle. Saulo screaming for it, clapping his hands. Here he is. What about this Saracens defence? Now is the time to test it, and they've done well. Bastareaud loses the ball forward. Wigglesworth gratefully. Beyond halfway, advantage is over. Pierre Bernard giving it some space to Habana, who scored the second try.
Just gone forward from Toulon, and then Olivon's offside. Oh, just their own worst enemies there, Toulon. They offloaded in traffic. Nonu trying to link up with Bastareaud in heavy traffic, forced a knock on.
Amazing tackle from Barrett, stepped in on the outside, and then Habana just picks the wrong brick wall to run into.
Can you do the best you
Mako
can with that,
Vunapola's
please?
work rate is just amazing.
Match at the RDS is on BT Sport 3 HD now. Tonight, once we've heard from Mike Ford, we'll be off to Parker Scarlets for the visit of the Sharks, and then tomorrow Sandy Park. What a game. Exeter against Claremont. 4K UHD as well if you've got one of those sets, and then we'll round it all up for you at 8:15 BT Sport 2 tomorrow night. Opening weekend of this magical Champions Cup.
Would you turn over now? Watch the other game?
Life's about options, Oz.
Certainly, isn't it? Andres Sense, you've got neither at the minute. Stick with this. This is an immense game of rugby.
Cruz, who's been majestic again in the centre of that Sarries line-up.
Yeah, Toulon just conscious they cannot afford to give the penalty away. Take Saracens away to 8 points.
Roman Taufi-Fanua, he's trying to wrestle his way over the top. He's got himself in a very handy position, and Wigglesworth trying to control a ball that wasn't easy. Here goes Brad Barrett, the captain. Little chip through. Oh, there's an opportunity. Oh, it came back off the posts, and in the end, it was the post that did for Maitland.
Did he touch it, Nick?
Okay, we'll have a look.
I think he touched it with his legs, but not his arms or his shoulders.
Time out first, please.
What a kick.
If it's above the knees, it's a try.
Simon?
If it's below the knees, it's not.
I think he's knocked it on first. Hit corner flag, we think back in play. Can you just check and say try or yes or no, please?
Well, this try would be as extraordinary as the first one he scored. Off the posts, and then did he overrun it, or did he get fingers on it?
This will be the angle. Got to slow that down to see it.
Did he knock it on? No,
He's knocked it on over the line.
And too low.
Yep.
He would have had to have been a gymnast of Max Whitlock proportions to have scored that one.
For me. Happy with that?
Unfortunately, he was quite upright. Had he slid in or thrown himself in?
No time.
Not exactly the easiest place to attack from, though, is it? Coffin corner.
It's a great kick as well from Barrett, though, because like we said in the first half, they created something from absolutely nothing. Slow ball, went round the short side, changed the direction, gets the ball on the ground, bouncing in behind.
No problem,
Really nice play.
Shoulder open here.
Final 5 minutes. In their long and proud and distinguished Heineken Cup and now Champions Cup history, a reminder, Toulon have never been beaten here in their back garden beside the Mediterranean. 5 minutes for Saracens to protect a 5-point lead.
As it stands, Saracens are going home with the points, and Toulon have a losing bonus point, but they want more.
Sport still with us, French international scrum half. Toulon with Vermeulen trying to engineer their way out from beneath their own posts.
Stay forward.
And slapped away into touch by Francois try and do. It'll be a Saracens throw.
9 and 7, Toulon, please.
9 and 7. Juan Martin Fernandez and Sebastian Tillous board being replaced by Eric Escand and Liam Gill, the Wallaby, on his Champions Cup debut, replacing Argentinian Juan Martin Fernandez-Lobe.
Yeah, just going back to that scrum, Nick, I'm not sure Toulon really have done enough there. Vermeulen on the back foot has worked really hard to get his side going forward, but he needs his forward pack to come round again and create another situation, kicking the ball out and handing possession back to Saracens with only a few minutes on the clock. It's not good enough.
No. Let's go.
Once again, Cruz, centre of the line, securing solid possession.
Brits just got the ball now.
Helping with the clear-out job. Ball needed to be picked up by Rhodes, and he did it carefully.
Stay now.
See how frantic it is. Toulon have got to gamble. They've got to gamble at the breakdown to try and win the ball back.
Release 5.
Just wondering whether Farrell will drop back into the pocket in a minute. No, he doesn't need to.
Penalty Saracens, and a chance to put this match to bed and to create European Cup history.
Well, he's penalised him for off feet. I was saying they had to gamble, but they gambled at the expense of giving a penalty away. And not only will this potentially cost them the game, it'll also take the bonus point away from them, losing bonus point.
What's the decision, skipper?
It's a banner who goes in, knocks the ball out. You're always going to get penalised for that.
Saracens have Scarlets at home next Sunday. They've got a Sale double-header before Christmas.
Just here.
And then they go to Parker Scarlets in January and finish off by welcoming Toulon back to Allianz Park in North London. By which point, we'll know who's in the quarterfinals. But what a statement this would be. What a sizable step, even at this early stage of the competition.
Well, there's undoubtedly going to be some twists and turns along the way, but have we just seen one with that penalty and denying Toulon that losing bonus point as it stands?
That's 2 minutes, Johnny.
Yeah, thanks.
Owen Farrell, dodgy back sorted, straight back in, no faffing around. That might be the match, that might be history.
You talk about needing a tonic. They found their way to fight back into this. There was a period of play, a passage of play. You just thought Toulon had the edge, they were about to advance. Saracens have got that steel, haven't they? They've got that mental agility to bounce back from a knock.
And then his first match since the third test in June in Sydney. Owen Farrell is man of the match.
Fred, we can go.
And Maro Itoje is off. Alex Lazowski's on, replacing Brad Barrett, interestingly.
Tell you what, Itoje will be mightily relieved of the scoreline.
Good. Clears away, and it's gone straight out of play. So a slither of hope, but it's no more than that now.
Well, they're not going to win the game because they're 8 points behind, but you do feel that their fight back in this second half deserves something, and they've cruelly had or lost the bonus point, so keep fighting to the end. Try and get that penalty back, or a bit more.
Stay.
Gathered in by Charles Olivon. And to hear much more of him as the years unfold. And he's going to end up on a beaten side here today.
Use it. And release now, 2 away.
Holding his vast frame forwards. Offload for Orioli. Escand slapping away for it, picking out Shockey. Bastereau in the bleached dreadlocks. Off he goes, he runs into Mako Vunipola. Orioli again. But they know the game is up. They know they are going to be beaten for the first time here in Europe at the highest level, in either the Heineken Cup or the Champions Cup. To this point, they were unbeatable, but 17 without defeat and no further. The North Londoners have made sure of that, whatever happens here now. And Bastereau straining everything to get what would be a losing bonus point. And now Vermeulen. This might be important. Every single point in the Champions Cup, absolutely critical. Toulon know that as well as anyone. Bastereau that close. One last job for Saracens to cut them out here. But there will be no losing bonus point. There will be no French consolation. Toulon's Mediterranean fortress has been breached. The walls scaled by a bunch of Saracens who've gone down in rugby history. Make no mistake, that is one of the greatest ever English performances in this competition. Nobody's done what Mark McCall's bunch have just done. Nobody's won here in either the Heineken Cup or the Champions Cup. They have now, and Owen Farrell on his comeback was the man of the match.